So I have a friend and client at 143 Vinyl that needs this image fixed up, and I'm just going to take the opportunity to make a tutorial. And I just thought I'd start out with a critique of the image, and it's a mess. It's got all this stuff around the outside. Definitely not going to print well. It's fairly large size, so there's a lot of pixels, and parts of it are smooth. But whoever made this, which was not my friend, is really struggling here with this white edges and all this stuff. So we're gonna clean this up and see if we can't make it pretty. Here we go. All right, so we're in Photoshop. Isn't that a shocker? And the first thing that we're gonna do is just, I'm zooming in and seeing that all this is so fuzzy, at 100%. There's no reason having bad pixels. So I'm just gonna go ahead and scale it down because we don't need it to be this big. So it's 10,000 pixels wide. So somebody's just blown it up. It really makes no sense. So let's try 3,000. That still looks fuzzy in the preview window. And the biggest thing that, called our attention was this jaggy line in the middle. But all I'm trying to do is just get some clean black lines. That's the first thing that we're going to try to do. So we're just going to play here, and we might learn from watching me make mistakes, or I may nail it and get perfect. So I'm just selecting all the black areas, and looks like I got most of that. And I'm just I'm using the magic wand and just pull in the black. Boop, boop, boop. And then we'll just grab these. Doop, doop, doop. Gotta be real cautious to not miss any centers of any letters, but it looks like this is all good. So we just selected the black, and I'm just going to copy it, and then Control-Shift-V creates a new layer. And so now we just have our black. And it's still rumply, but it's probably better already than what it was before, because we've scaled it down and just made it look, back to a reasonable size, for the actual artwork that we have. So I'm going to call this Cougars Split Black. And then we are going to pull this open in Inkscape. So let's just pop open Inkscape. How y'all doing out there? We're waiting for Inkscape to load, and it likes to take its time when my friends are watching. I need a better computer. I think we all need better computers. All right, so I'm going to go to my image fixes folder. Pop this in. So I'm going to choose embed because I'm going to get rid of it later. So embedding actually just puts it inside the Inkscape file rather than linking it to your computer. And I'm just going to scale it down. We're in Inkscape, so, it doesn't matter what scale we keep it. It's got a copy of the image embedded in here. We just want to get it reasonable. I don't know how Inkscape's code works completely, but I wonder if it's better to just work at a certain size, so the code runs faster and lighter. Okay, so we got that position on our stage here. And like I said, we're just doing the trace bitmap. And so that opens this window over here. And you can click update and see what it's going to get. And then just, you can adjust speckles, smooth corners, optimize, all that stuff. Let's just hit OK and see what we get. These are the settings I usually use, I guess. And so that should have traced it. Initial impression is that it's good. So this is the image behind it, and this is the trace. And the way you tell that is you just click on your little node editor. And now I'm hitting plus. It could be more optimized. There's a lot of a lot of nodes, probably more nodes than we need. But the result, the result looks jaggy to me. So let's not do that. Let's keep trying. And this may not be the answer. but we're going to try it. So hang on. So I've tried a couple of different variations now, and just changing those optimization settings is not fixing it for us. So what I'm going to do is actually reduce the image size a little more. Okay, so I've scaled it down to 1,000 pixels wide. And my thought process is, let's give Inkscape less information to work with, and then maybe it won't follow those curves quite so precisely. So I closed out of Inkscape, just trying to free memory on my computer. And now I've exported this again. Pull it in. It's coming in smaller. Let's just hit OK. So I've got 2, 1, and then 0.20 on the optimize. I really wasn't seeing a huge difference when I changed those settings. Oh yeah, guys, I mean, I'm getting better at this every day. I'm sitting here patting myself on the back. That's what we needed. Now we've got something that's smooth. It's not squiggly, it's not bumpy. Let's look at it close. So there's the original JPEG. You know, and you get stuff like this. You know, that S does not look as perfect. But it's just a balance. And, you know, I like this better than what I saw before, so that's what I'm going with. All right, so now we've got our black all clean. We want to get rid of the original image. This is the SVG version that's infinitely scalable. I really like how there's a lot less nodes. I mean, that's just going to be a smoother effect. So now we're just going to go to Document Properties and pop that window up. Where are you, Document Properties? I think my computer is just struggling. File, Document Properties. Let me find it. Inkscape, I love you, but sometimes you really drive me crazy. My document properties had hidden itself down here, and I found it, but I got it now. So anyway, what we want to do is just resize the page to the content. Resize page to drawing or selection. So if you have nothing selected, it'll just select around. And now we don't have any white space, and we can just save this SVG. So that part's done, and let's go to the next part. Okay, so you just always want to go back to your original artwork. I am opening that Cougars split.png back up. It's still 10,000 pixels wide because I haven't, I'm just going back to my original. And it's just making my whole computer slow, just because it's too big. So we're just going to scale it down. We're going to do this. We did this once before, but we're just setting it, 3,600. I mean, that'll print. You don't want to go too big and you don't want to go too small. You want to go just right. So I'm going to go 4,000 so that I can print this at least 3,600 pixels wide because I see that space on the edge, that white space on both sides. So 4,000. Let's do 4,000. All right. And then we're just going to zoom in. Get it to fill the stage. I'm conscious of my zoom level all the time. I'm at 33% right now. And we'll just drag this SVG on here. It is an SVG, like we just said, so you can scale it to whatever size you want. And we'll just get it up so it's about the right size. We're remaking this, so it doesn't really matter. And now we've got our crisp black. Okay, so what do we want to do now? We want to make the filling of the Cougars part. So we're just going to select all the insides, just all the little empty spaces, and I think that's all of it. And then we're going to expand that selection. So you've really got the amount of, the size of the border as your margin of error, and we want overlap. So I'm going to just expand it by 5 pixels. And that should have a nice overlap with everything. And so this will be our interior layer. So I'm just going to hit Control-Shift-New. you can go to layer, new layer, and then we're going to turn this on so we can get our color. We'll just pick that color first, and then we're going to just draw by dropping paint on this layer. So we'll just turn that off and drop our paint, and we're just looking to see if we missed anything. Okay, and then we'll pull that paint down below our black, so you can see that now. That's you know, that's that margin of error I was talking about. You know, we're painting behind. All right, and then I'm just going to select these parts. We'll turn the black layer off and make sure it's selected all the way to the edge. Okay, and then we'll just Control X, Control Shift V. So it's about time to start naming our layers. Base fill, and then we have Paul, print. All right, and then we're just going to select this. We'll turn off our base fill. We just want to get this other color going. So I'm choosing my background color so I have both the colors. So I can flip between them over here in Photoshop. All right. And then there's our paw print. So we're just going to do blending options and do a color overlay. We could always paint over it and actually fill those pixels, but there's no reason to do that. There's our color. Okay. So now we've got that. And now we need to do our stripe across. So I'm just going to pull this base fill up so that I can look at it by itself. Turn it on. Duplicate that layer. And so we'll call this stripe. I don't know what else to call it. And then we'll get our selection going. So I'm just going to turn everything off. I'm just kind of getting that ready. And we'll just select, actually let's use a shape. Let's use a shape. That's probably the best thing to do here. And I'm just over here hunting, looking for my shape tools. Here's a rectangle tool. And we'll just draw a rectangle that's a little bit bigger than our document. And we can define fill for that. So there's the fill. And we don't want any stroke, and that's what that little symbol there means, no stroke. All right, and then let's just arrange it to, oops, don't want to draw another one. Stop that. We'll just arrange it so that it matches. I'm going to turn the opacity down so I can really line it up and see what I'm doing. Oops, let's just follow the curve. Let's scoot it up. Pretty darn close. Let's change the opacity back up. Awesome. And then this is our stripe layer. You know, and we can just make this the stripe. That's the best thing to do. We don't need this extra layer. And then what we're going to do is just right click and then do create clipping mask. So now it's clipping to that base fill. And then I'm just going to turn my black back on, pull it up to the top, turn off my back, turn on my paw print, and we got it. All right, well, hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you learned something, and hope my friend is happy with my work. Thank you all. Have a great day.